So, Vicki and Lorne, thank you so much for being with us today. Before we get started, tell me a little bit about your background and, for our folks and how long you've been doing this, etc.
We've been doing this for 15 years. I used to be in the insurance business for about 20 years, and my wife was a property manager over in Fort Worth.
I got it. Very good. And then you just how did you just get in, I understand your background, what led you to this?
We had friends that had parents that passed away, and they knew that we went to auctions and to estate sales a lot. They asked if we would help liquidate their family's estate. So we did that, had a great time doing it, and we thought this would be a fun thing to do. Our kids had had gone to college and moved off, so we decided to do this part-time and found out we liked it a lot more than insurance and property management.
And then became full-time.
And we became full-time.
All right.
About 13,
Unexpectedly,
12.
yes.
Yeah. So obviously you two are the main movers and shakers here. How many other staff people do you have, like for an event?
We can have anywhere from
6 to 12.
6 to 12 people. We've had 19 at a couple sales, but we've normally 6 to 12 people in every home, so that every home has somebody in every room of the house.
So we guess that you guys have systematized some type of training for these guys over the years, that type of thing?
Definitely. A home needs to be protected as well as the items.
Right.
So everyone loves us for some reason, stays with us.
Sure.
And we've all grown together. We always learn something new, but
most of them are retired friends that just wanted something to do, so they came to work for us, and they know they don't have to work every week, but they'll work for us 2 weeks a year or something, and
whenever
2 weeks a month.
When they're available, and depending on the load, I would guess that you guys would have, right? Yeah. Okay. So, a lot of times when I'm talking with folks, and especially if it's a parent that is now going into some type of assisted living or independent living, or maybe a parent who has passed away, that it's rather than them having to get involved with taking care of everything in the house, they usually obviously remove something of real importance to them. But then they were up, do you know an estate sale person? Because it makes life easier for them.
Right.
So, and I would imagine it's I know from when I'm talking with them on the sales side, it's emotional, but I got to think even on your side, it may be more emotional because of the items.
Yes.
It's a very stressful time when we either talk to somebody who is downsizing or with passing of a parent or of a child. And we tell people the money is in the house, it's not in the belongings. But in the belongings are your memories. So if there's something in the house that you think you might want that has some memory to you, to keep that.
Right.
But if it's something else, just let it go. But if you think you want to keep it, take it now, because in 6 months it's going to be sold.
We ask them to have out all important papers, anything that they think a sibling, or that if it's something that they can use, because we're not going to get the actual value that they paid for at retail, correct? So if it's important to them, then we want them to go ahead and take it out, have everything all out for us when we come in, and then we just set everything up. We bring in tables, tablecloths, and price everything. Everything will have a tag, and go from there.
Okay, so obviously either by referral or however they would find you, then what would be they contact you, or let's say I'm contacting you, so what's the first step in the process?
We set up an appointment and go out so that they can meet us personally.
Right.
We want them to be comfortable with us. Your gut feeling is always really important. And so
define what you mean by gut feeling.
When someone comes into your home, if for some reason you don't click, then interview someone else. There are over 150 estate sale companies in the area.
We were about the 9th one.
We were the 9th one, yes.
And so if you don't feel comfortable with somebody, call somebody else.
Well, and then you guys run the Better Business Bureau.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is there like an organization of estate sale? Has it progressed to that yet?
No, and there should be, but it hasn't come about yet. In the very beginning, this is just an example of how old our company really is. We set up a meeting with some companies that were in Dallas. We proceed to go to this, and one of the men that runs one of our registers, we try to run two registers, Lorne, and one of our people that run the other one is a CPA. Well, he said it's very important that you collect sales tax.
Mhm.
Well, at this meeting that we went to years ago, some of the larger companies, because we had just started,
Right.
did not collect sales tax.
Wow.
Well, it is a law in the state of Texas. So any company you should use should
I'm
collect
curious,
sales tax.
would that affect your side?
Both sides.
That was my question.
Yeah.
It was both
He,
sides.
he proceeded to tell us that they can come back on the family as well as the company.
Wow.
And we have been audited. We have had them walk in
We've had two.
to 2 sales and check and make sure we were paying our sales tax. So we passed, but you know, it's something to be aware of, that in Texas you collect sales tax.
So in addition to your gut, really what you should do is, check, say in your case, it's Better Business Bureau, maybe potentially look online, see if there are reviews, that type of situation, and
Yes.
go from there.
And if we give you a list of referrals or another company does,
Right.
don't just take the piece of paper and set it on the table.
No,
Actually
you
call one or two of them and see
Right.
if they actually did the sale.
Right, I get it. Okay, so what would be, we have an initial meeting, and we both feel comfortable, so what would be the next step?
We're gonna give you a contract that states what all we do, how we set up, how we price.
Mhm.
It goes through the whole 9 yards of it. And we don't want you to sign it when we first come in. We want you to look at it, we want you to talk to other companies, we wanna see how you feel.
Mhm.
Call us back in a day or two or a week and say, can we do this on September 10th? Can we have the sale that weekend? We will then come pick up the contract, we'll take pictures of the house, and we start advertising at that time.
A
we have-
rule of thumb, though, is your larger companies are going to stay busy. So the minute you know you're going to put your house on the market,
Mhm.
start contacting people
Mhm.
to get on their calendars. That's very important because Lorne and I are not a company that's going to have 2 on a weekend.
Right.
We are going to have 1 sale. There's always one of us in the home at all times.
Right.
Some companies branch out and may run 2 or 3 in a weekend.
Mhm.
So you need to decide what kind of company you want.
Yeah, because one of the things that I've always stressed to the folks is that when I'm listing their home is that they should engage with an estate company right away,
Mhm.
figure out what dates are out there,
Yes.
especially in the market like we have right now, with a home potentially selling pretty quickly. Then we also have to coordinate the closing date with the estate sale, with the possession date
Correct.
type of thing, because if for some reason the sale fell apart, the sellers don't want to have an empty house now, that type of situation. So it gets to be, it definitely, everybody has to work together,
Right.
that type of
Well, with
situation.
houses selling within 12 hours,
Right.
Getting multiple offers on it,
Right,
and they want it within 25, 30 days.
Right.
We've got to,
right,
they've got to get their stuff out, we've got to get our stuff in,
right.
and try not to step on each other's.
Oh, and absolutely, and it's so important because as I tell the sellers is, look, once we tell them we're doing blank date, you're out of here type of situation.
That's it.
Yes.
It's
So-
got to be done.
Yeah. So how does okay, so you've got the contract. Do you recommend having, is it, would you say it's fairly simple stated, or they need to have an attorney look it over, or they think?
Oh, no, it's very simple.
very simple,
Yeah,
okay.
it's literally just fill in the box type thing. We're going to charge you this commission on this house,
Mhm.
Keep your homeowner's insurance, keep all these type things up.
Mhm.
And at the end of the sale,
Mhm.
you have the option of us cleaning out all the unbreakable items,
Mhm.
which we're going to bag and box.
Right.
That it belongs to you. It does not belong to us, so you can get a
Donate
charity
it
to
to
come
Mission
pick-
Arlington
Yeah,
or whatever the
you
case
can
might
do with it whatever you want to.
Okay. So when you go in to talk to somebody, do you kind of sometimes, as you're looking around and talking to them, say, hey, there's really not enough here, or
Yes,
this
sir.
is, that type of thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
and
How
we'll
often-
tell them up front.
How often does that happen?
Maybe 40 to 50% of the time.
Okay.
Because they're going to tell us if they're downsizing,
Right.
I'm taking this 2-bedroom suites out,
Right.
or bedroom suite, dining room table, these
Right.
type things. And then my daughters and sons want some of this stuff.
Mhm.
And we put, we can add it up fairly quickly and say there's not enough
Enough
to
here.
do a sale.
Right.
Or, if you leave it, it will sell.
So that sounds like you may run into that a little bit more with somebody who's going to some type of senior living rather than an
Yes,
estate
because
sale.
they
True
need
estate
their
sale,
items.
yeah.
Unless
Yes,
the
sir.
kids are same thing, our grandma's, whatever.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
But most young people don't want China, they don't want a lot of their items, because they've now got a whole house full of of
Their
their
own
stuff,
things.
so they don't, unless it's got memories attached to it, that's the only thing they're taking to mom and dad's.
So how much time do you typically need for a home to do the assessment of what's there? Meaning,
We can walk through the house in probably an hour and tell them approximate money-wise. If they sign the contract, we go in to start the sale of the house, we're gonna need anywhere from 7 to 10 days. On
Okay.
larger homes, it's gonna be 2 weeks.
now would that just be because of more rooms, meaning more stuff, or?
Yeah,
More
and
items.
more items to
Yes.
look up online or to get
Right.
appraiser out there to look at. It just, because the average home has 15,000 items in it, and we're gonna price 15,000 things with either stickers, with a pricing gun, with labels, and if we have to look up a Bernhardt couch or Thomasville, whatever, it takes a few minutes to do the research online.
Well, and that was kind of one of my questions was that if you have an item that you go, wow, this could be really something here, you're calling in an outside
We
source
do.
for
We do.
an opinion, so to speak.
You had a house that you sold in Mansfield a few
Did,
weeks
101.
ago. They called an appraiser in, and they had Ming vases, they had museum quality ivory that was going to museums, they had those type things.
Right.
And it was, we can't sell these for what they're worth, so donate them, do whatever.
Right.
But we can't.
Right.
But
And that-
yes, if we need, we will call in a certified appraiser.
Gotcha.
Um,
Very good. Okay, so so we talked about that. So does the family get involved with some of the setting of the numbers, or is that just really more you know, from that standpoint?
We would prefer to be able to do it because we've done this so many years, but we always listen to their input. There's always an item that's very special, and that one particular item is the one you really need to say, okay, if that's what you would like, then we're going to do it.
Or you
So,
take it
yes,
and do
I'll
something
take
else, take it and we'll discuss
exactly.
later. Yeah, that type of
Yes,
thing, right?
yes.
We had our very first sale, fellow by the name of David, went into his back shed
Right.
and found a 1967 Honda. And he said, oh, that was mine growing up. And he said, I said, do you want to sell it? Thinking, we're making money on this thing. It is in great shape. He said, yep. And I said, if you want to set the price, set it. He said, okay. He said, $60. And I went, no, the key is worth $60.
Right.
And he had the paperwork.
And he had all the paperwork
Everything.
too. He sold it for $60. The first guy in came and looked at it, and he said, what's the deal on it? David was standing there, and he said, $60. That's all I want for it. So we let him price whatever,
Okay. In the future, if you get one of those, call me right away. Okay, you're right there. Okay.
that's it. It's like,
Wow.
But he was scared it was old, it wasn't going to work properly, whatever, and we were saying, David, that doesn't matter, but
They can
that
rebuild
that
it.
was his comfort zone.
Wow. That's,
So yeah,
of course, there's the old joke about the guy who was selling the house, and this lady advertises that, yeah, I'm selling this Mercedes, for $100 and whatever, and they go through the whole thing only to find out she sold it for $100 because she had got it in a divorce. It was her husband who really wanted it, and she wanted to get rid of it for $100. That thing, so that type of thing. So that's pretty funny. Okay, so we're getting towards the second day, et cetera, and we've got items that are still sitting around, maybe bigger items. How do we handle negotiating, that type of thing? If somebody says, hey, it's on there for, I'm just throwing a number out there, $300, we want to offer you $150 or whatever, how does that work?
We have a bid box system
Okay.
that, say we have a Friday, Saturday sale. When they walk in on Friday,
Mhm.
if they want to make an offer on something, we will just say, here's a form, fill it out, put your
Right.
phone number and the price that you are comfortable with
Right.
spending. And they put it in the bid box system.
Okay.
So say we have 300 on a sofa and
Right.
they want to offer 2,
Right.
they put that bid in.
And
If
assuming
we
the
don't
sofa's-
sell it outright,
You contact
then we
them.
contact them.
Yeah.
Yes, and they get it for a lesser price.
No.
How often do those people disappear? Meaning, are they go, oh, I'm not
No,
interested
you
in
wouldn't
that.
believe.
You would believe,
They
yeah.
are there. They want it.
when I call them
So-
on Saturday at noon,
Right.
it's like, give me your credit card over the phone and it'll be paid for. And I'll be there within an hour.
So we do obviously cash, but you also have the ability to take credit cards and
Yes.
debit cards, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, very good.
Um,
Excellent. How often do you I mean, how do you settle up with the seller? I mean, and only because obviously credit cards are being used, et cetera, so
Yes.
how does that all work?
We get paid by MasterCard and Visa and American Express on Monday and Tuesday,
Okay.
following a sale. On Wednesday, I am sending a check out
To them?
to them, so by Friday, a week, 7 days after the sale has started, they're gonna get a check. And we
Right.
send it priority mail. Only once has a check ever got lost in the mail, and we found it in New York City when it was supposed to be in Fort Worth.
Okay.
So,
That's slight, but there is a New York, Texas,
just
for
a
those who
little
don't know, it's
problem.
actually in East Texas. But yeah, I would think that would be a different deal. So now, from my perspective, meaning the agent's situation, and we've had folks go in and show homes prior to you guys.
Yep.
You've done your staging, but not your event yet, and you know, we always remind everybody to be very, very careful, you know, et cetera. So one of the concerns that a potential buyer has is that, hey, will the house be, what kind of condition will it be in afterwards? You know that type of thing.
when we close up after a sale,
Right,
everything will either go to charity, or the family can decide what they want to do with it.
right,
If Vicki meets a charity on Monday or Tuesday after the sale has ended, she'll meet charity. Charity will haul everything off with the exception of usually mattresses and
Old televisions.
old television sets
Sure.
they don't like anymore. But they will take that, and the house at that point goes back to the owner.
so
They
do
need
you,
to get a cleaning
I was gonna
person.
say, do you have a cleaning service as part of what you do?
No,
So
sir.
strictly back on the
We've
side.
got people we can,
Refer
names
to.
we can refer
Right.
to, but we don't do that as a service.
Okay.
Because on Sunday afternoon at about 12 o'clock, I am out of the house. I've got tables torn
Right.
down, everything is back to
Right.
what is gonna be left in the house for charity.
Good. So what questions might not we be asking right now, that things we should be asking, you know, that type of thing?
We protect the house, we do not move the furniture,
Okay,
but we protect the house when the movers come in to move bedroom sets
okay,
or TVs or whatever. We're gonna protect the house as much as possible.
okay. And by protect, you're kind of making sure that they're not
They don't
taking that
scratch the
bedroom
floor
suit
or-
and put a big old hole in the wall.
That's
and
it.
all of that.
Or if we
Yes.
find a big hole in the wall,
Right.
when the bedroom set is moved out, we're gonna call the owner real quick and say, that's an old hole. You know, and they will say,
But
yes.
that also leads to anything that is bolted to the wall.
Right.
We do not sell it.
Got it.
It is left
So it'd be
there.
up to the seller's
Uh,
responsibility as far as
yes.
like have it undone prior
Correct.
to your sale.
Exactly.
Get
Or-
a TV,
TV, flat screen
flat
TV
screen
mount,
TVs,
or,
because once I pull them out, there's gonna be that hole in the wall.
yes, we know.
And that needs to be fixed or whatever,
Mhm.
that's on your side usually.
Right.
Yeah, those
Yes, you get
things,
to make that call. Refrigerators, the realtor makes the call for
Right,
us. If
right.
refrigerators, washer dryers,
Right.
those items are mainly the realtor's call.
Right, okay,
And so then we will sell them if you don't want them left in the home.
sure, okay.
same with curtains also.
Yeah, drapes
Drapes,
and-
any window treatments, we won't touch unless,
Unless otherwise,
Unless-
I say authorized or
Right.
whatever.
Exactly.
Okay. So what would you say on a typical situation, how much notice would you guys need? So for argument's sake, if I have somebody and they're looking at putting their home on the market in, let's say it's July, and they
Okay.
want to put their midway through and they say, we want to be on August 1st. I've got a feeling that you guys are, if you're involved, you're going to say, I need to be informed and figured at least 60 days in advance, potentially longer depending on the time of year.
yeah, no, we don't like to do one every week.
Right.
We're just too old to, we used to do it, but it's hard. So now, I mean, if on August 1st the house goes on the market,
Right.
let us know August 1st, hey,
Right.
we might be using y'all, fine.
Right.
And we'll say we've got the last half of September and all October,
Right.
and if the house sells before that,
Right.
call us, and if we have an open weekend,
We can slot you in.
we can
It'll be
slot it in.
yours.
But,
Yes.
you know, for us to pencil it in, we'll go ahead and do it for the 45 days to 60 days out, is
Okay.
usually about how far we book out. But if we need to, if you're in an emergency,
Right.
we'll try to find a weekend.
And we've done many of those.
Now, do you
Yeah.
guys have a website that somebody could go to?
It's
Yes.
Estate, ESTATE, the number 2, locate.com.
Okay. So in other words, that would just kind of answer general questions that somebody might
Yes.
have. That
Yes.
time I'm assuming it has a contact page.
Yep,
and all
it's
that.
got all that
Yes, and there's a
information.
picture of the crew up and just information that they may
All
want
right.
to read about.
Very good. Okay. Anything else we got?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you very much. We appreciate Vicki and Lorne for their very insightful information.
Thank you.
You will find all their contact information here on our YouTube link, and we look forward to talking to you next time. Bye-bye.